Folks, we've officially reached a point in history that's straight out of a sci-fi horror movie, and nobody's batting an eye. Now, somewhere deep inside some secretive laboratory somewhere that's funded by shadowy institutions and your tax dollars, mind you, scientists are literally mixing human genes with animal DNA. I'm not joking. They've been taking human speech genes and inserting them into mice, making rodents that can communicate a little bit differently, right? Mice that, in a sense, can almost speak. Now, we're about to go deep down this rabbit hole and not only talk about this mouse, we're going to talk about glow-in-the-dark mice, other mutant animals that are basically straight out of the island of Dr. Moreau. And we're also going to tie it all back to ancient biblical prophecies, the words of Jesus himself. And in my opinion, these monstrosities, these genetic manipulations, could be a sign that we're hurtling towards a dark future that parallels the days of Noah. Now, buckle up, folks, because things are about to get wild. Now, let's get into some specifics on the topic. Scientists have managed to splice together the FOXP2 gene, often known as the language gene, directly into the DNA of a mouse. The FOXP2 gene, for those who don't know, is basically seen as crucial for developing speech patterns and language in humans. Sounds pretty important, right? So what are these mad scientists doing with this gene, and why are they splicing it into mice? They take this critical piece of human genetic code and they're sticking it inside mice to see what happens. I mean, they're literally experimenting with nature and with creation itself. And let me just tell you what happened real quick, and then we're going to read the article. So these mice started exhibiting bizarre changes in their vocalizations. Their little squeaks became a little bit different and then distinctly different. They became more complex. They became eerily human-like. Not that they're reciting Shakespeare yet. No. But that's probably coming down the road. But what they're doing is creepy enough because they're communicating in ways that no mouse has before. They're tampering with God's creation, guys. And this isn't just some minor curiosity either. No, these humanized mice not only communicate differently, but they also show signs of increased intelligence, according to the researchers. You can't make this stuff up. These genetically modified mice performed significantly better on maze tests and other food-related tests, as well as adapting faster. They solved problems more quickly, and they exhibited more memory skills than their regular mice counterparts. They actually made smarter mice by injecting them with human genes into their tiny little brains. Now, let me be crystal clear about this, because these experiments are not happening in some obscure corner of the world somewhere. They're not happening in some secret military base. No. Not even close. They are happening out in the open, out in public, and they're being published in scientific journals for everybody to see. One prominent study was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Now, if that doesn't send chills down your spine, knowing that these mad scientists are creating hybrid beings in the laboratories out in the open and publishing the results in journals, I don't know what will. So let's read this article real quick, guys. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to go over it real quick. Quote, "Scientists put a human language gene into mice and curious things unfolded. In a quest to understand complex speech, scientists inserted what's been dubbed a human language gene into mice. Remarkably, the gene tweak had a profound impact on the little rodent's ability to speak, revealing astonishing clues about the evolution of vocal communication. Mouse pups that had human versions of the language gene showed different vocalization patterns from their buddies with the usual version that mice have. When calling for their mother, the squeaks were higher pitched and featured different selection of sounds than usual. All baby mice make the ultrasonic squeaks to their mother, and language researchers categorize the varying squeaks as 4 letters, S, D, U, and M. We found that when we transliterated the squeaks made by the mice with human genes, they were different from those from the wild-type mice. Some of the letters had changed," says Robert Darnell, the study's author, and he's also head of the Laboratory of Molecular Neuro-Oncology at Rockefeller University. Rockefeller. Doesn't surprise me one bit, okay? Of course something like this would be done at Rockefeller University. Why wouldn't it? Let's continue reading. "When grown up, the genetically modified mice showed even more interesting changes. When attempting to woo a potential mate, the males produced more complex, high-frequency calls than the controls. They talked differently to the female mice. One can imagine how such changes of vocalization could have a profound impact on evolution." Evolution, huh? All these changes are associated with the shift of the gene NOVA1, which codes for the protein neuro-oncological ventral antigen 1. Other genes, as well as other environmental factors, are likely to be associated with the emergence of complex vocal communication. However, NOVA1 certainly appears to be an important ingredient in the mix. Why on earth would anybody want to create these horrible monstrosities? The official explanation they give is always something harmless, like, oh, we're just helping figure out evolution, or we're just understanding the human speech disorders and all these things. We're advancing medical treatments, But folks, come on. Are we really that naive? Are we really supposed to believe that their only agenda here is to help people? Or is it possible that they are laying the groundwork for something darker? Something more sinister, something where they're able to go inside of our bodies and remove certain genes that they don't want people to have, such as the genes for, let's say, thinking for yourself, disagreement, critical thinking, or logic, right? If they remove these things from people, then they can do with us what they want. And we won't even know that they're taking advantage of us because our brains will be turned off in those areas, okay? So today it's mice, tomorrow it's creatures maybe more intelligent, like primates, pigs, or even something closer to us, like the pig man.
Talking about a pig man. I walked into the wrong room and there he was. Half pig, half man.
Hospital receives grant to conduct DNA research.
Pig man, baby, pig man.
So this mice thing, I know it's creepy, but just hold on to your butts. Because this genetic carnival ride doesn't stop there. Scientists have been playing Dr. Moreau, cooking up strange creatures, even glow-in-the-dark things for quite a long time. And let me just break into some of these. Remember when you were a kid, those glow-in-the-dark stickers that were the pinnacle of cool? I mean, everybody had them. You put them on your shoes, you put them on your backpack, you put them everywhere. They would absorb the sunlight and then they would glow. Well, guess what? Scientists have taken that childhood fascination to a whole new level. They created glow-in-the-dark mice. Yeah. They inserted a gene from bioluminescent jellyfish into mouse embryos, and researchers have produced mice that literally emit green light when you put them under a special light. They glow green. Now, this isn't some backyard science project, people. This is another published study, okay? Do you see a pattern that we're doing? These published studies of these genetic monstrosities, all in the name of science. What they're doing is they're messing with things that were never supposed to be messed with. The official narrative is that these bioluminescent rodents serve as models to track gene expression and for studies in diseases and stuff like that. Again, trying to layer it with some good so people aren't alarmed by it. What's next? Glow-in-the-dark pets for your kids? Oh wait, never mind, that's already in the pipeline. There's a link to it right here. Now let's talk about the woolly mouse. Not the woolly mammoth, the woolly mouse. Scientists have now engineered mice to exhibit traits of a woolly mammoth. Yes, you heard that right. A woolly mammoth. By editing specific genes, researchers have produced mice with thicker, woollier fur reminiscent of the long extinct woolly mammoth, okay? I mean, it seems like their depravity has no end. And here's the thing. They don't want to stop with this woolly mouse idea, right? They want to pave the way to basically de-extinct the woolly mammoth and reintroduce it into the wild. I mean, what possible reason do they have for trying to resurrect some extinct animal and bring it back to life? Our food chain is set up very specifically, and something like that can wreak havoc. It's like in the movie Jurassic Park. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, don't you see the danger in what you're doing here? Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
So what does all this have to do with the days of Noah and the words of Jesus Christ warning us of as it was in the days of Noah? Well, let's connect some dots to a time. According to biblical accounts, according to the Bible itself, the world was filled with corruption and genetic aberrations, just like today. The days of Noah. Jesus himself warned, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. Because in the Bible, in Genesis 6, it says the sons of God, who are the angels. If you look at it in Hebrew, it's B'nai Ha-Elohim. That word in Hebrew in the Old Testament is only used for angels. It's not humans, okay? Angels, they created the Nephilim. They tampered with the genetic code. They tampered with our DNA to create genetic aberrations, exactly like what they're doing now, except to a more extreme level. So the sons of God, the angels, they tampered with our genetic code, leading to the Nephilim, okay? These beings, neither fully human nor fully divine, roamed the earth, and they wreaked havoc on the earth. So much so that the Lord had to actually destroy the earth to get rid of these genetic aberrations. Today we're doing the exact same thing, just to a lesser extent. And it's not hard to see the slippery slope that we are on and where this could lead us if we just keep going down this path that we're going down. We're blending species, we're blending boundaries, we're creating organisms that defy the natural order, just like in the days of Noah. And, the days of Noah were marked by widespread corruption, by violence, by hatred, by anger, by the hatred for God, much of like what we see today. We're not just repeating mistakes of the past. We are echoing the past, and we are reliving the past, just in a different way, okay? So I want to know what you all think about this. Please leave a comment below. Put your opinion down below. I'm really curious to read what you have to say about this. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss anything, and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. I want to thank you all for watching this video, and until next time, God bless you all.